Caitlyn Clark is the most relevant, popular, interesting, fascinating college athlete since Tim Tebow. And she's carrying the sport. She's carrying the sport the same way as Tiger Woods, man. Let me talk about perhaps my favorite athlete right now, Caitlyn Clark. The Caitlyn Clark collision. The Caitlyn Clark collision. I like that. CCC. The Caitlyn Clark collision is turning into, it's like the Zapruder film. And it all depends on which angle you look at it from. Look, I love Caitlyn Clark. Let's watch. They got beat by Ohio State this weekend. Caitlyn drops 45 points. Ohio State, they're ranked number 2 in the country. Ohio State fans storm the court after knocking her off and knocking Iowa off. And there's a collision. Let's play. I think we got a couple, 2 or 3 different angles on this. Let's play the Caitlyn collision. I think that's one. Yeah, there we go. That to me looks like the kid storming the court, and I think it's a woman, knocks Caitlyn over, and it's a really bad look. Then I've seen, I don't know if it's this angle, but I've seen other angles where it looks to me like Caitlyn Clark knocks over the woman storming the court, and then does the Caitlyn Clark spin around flop. I mean, this looks like a flop, a LeBron James level flop to me with the whole spin around. Where do you come down on the Caitlyn collision? Is this a flop? Is she over dramatizing this whole deal?
All right. Well, first of all, hold on. They're rushing the court for a regular season women's college basketball game. Okay. All right. Spring football practice cannot come soon enough for the fine people of Ohio State and Columbus. Good. All right. I don't think there was anything particularly malicious. I think Caitlyn has to do a little bit more shoulder press. I mean, she doesn't have to look like Dan Campbell, but gosh, she's dainty. The way she spun out of there, I mean, come on. And I hope this does not get rid of court rushing. I think that's one of the great traditions of college basketball. Yes, even for a women's game in the middle of January. But Caitlyn, you got to get to LA Fitness and hit the creatine. You can't get muscled like that. Come on. Really? Really, this is the athlete you love. Really,
it is. I'm not going to apologize for it. This is the first bad look for her, though, because I'm telling you, it's a flop. And I think Caitlyn initiated more contact than the actual court stormer. I'm just telling you, it's a flop, and Caitlyn initiated it. And that's not the perfect angle, but there's a different angle where you can just tell, like, the court stormer was trying to avoid, and Caitlyn kind of reached out, pushed out. It's a definite flop. But the thing you're really underestimating, Steve, and again, I'm just into sports. I'm into great competition. I'm into interesting stories. And dude, you are just missing out on one of the most fascinating stories in the history of sports. I'm going to analogize what I'm telling you.
Okay.
This woman has college basketball, the entire sport, on her back, the same way that Tiger Woods had the PGA Tour on his back, and making it relevant. I stopped what I was doing to watch the last 5 minutes of this game because when I saw that she was going off, the people were storming the course. There's that kind of excitement. Caitlyn Clark is the most relevant, popular, interesting, fascinating college athlete since Tim Tebow. And she's carrying the sport. She's carrying the sport the same way as Tiger Woods, man.
So let me guess. We are all Caitlyn Clark. I am Caitlyn Clark. I'm Caitlyn Clark. Oh, give me a break. Really? Okay. First of all, I want to admit something. I actually had the TV on to this game. Only because I was waiting for the NFL coverage to follow. And as soon as the game went into overtime, I'm like, geez, I'm stuck with this. Anyway, since you love sports, you know what I used to love about the old Georgetown teams of the 80s? Nobody stormed the court on them. Oh, no, because number one, they never really lost. Could you imagine a bunch of college kids rushing the court on Patrick Ewing, Michael Graham, Horace Broadnax, and Gene Smith, those soldiers? I mean, they would part like the Red Sea among those guys. Now, Caitlyn, toughen up, do some shoulder presses, and stop acting like a female Asian driver. Look where you are going and signal and run. Get out of the way of people. Jeez. Sick. You're a sick man, Whitlock.
You love college football. Do you remember what a big deal Tim Tebow was and how polarizing?
Yeah, it was terrible.
We're
I hated
looking at the same. You hated it? You hated Tim Tebow in college?
I hated the Gators. Yes, as a Miami fan, I was not.
You're a Miami fan.
But here's the thing. The country actually cares about college football. Jason, we don't care about women's hoops. Come on. Just stop.
Steve, you're missing the boat. You may not care, but people are starting to care. If I was the NCAA, I'd be trying to figure out a way to give this woman a 6-year of eligibility. I wouldn't want her ever to graduate from college because she's making the sport relevant. There are people jealous, Don Staley and all these other people jealous and mad at her and think she's the worst thing in the world and she's benefiting from white privilege. No, she's a better player. She's a more exciting player than what we've ever seen in college, women's college basketball. And she's drawing eyeballs and attention. It's undeniable. You can stick your head in the sand, but this ain't soccer. This isn't Megan Rapinoe. This isn't what's her name? Who's the Becky Hammond or what was the name that took her? Brandy Chastain that took her top off. All that manufactured BS. People are tuning in to see this woman ball, and they're not being. They're not doing it out of some guilty conscience over. Oh, we've mistreated women, and we gotta support her because she's a woman, and this is so great. While everybody's sitting there, got toothpicks in their eyes, trying to keep them open, watching women play soccer. This is actually exciting and fun to watch and real. I can't believe you're just gonna ignore it.
Jason, I'm just going to tell you this right now. A lot of what you say, I don't disagree with. She's a spectacular player in her realm. Now, with that said, I want to say this. If I find out that you filled out a women's college basketball March Madness bracket, and if you're going to Iowa basketball March Madness watch parties, I may resign. I just be like, okay, it's it. It's it. Whitlock, jump the shark.
I'm going to tell you what I'm capable of.
Oh, no.
I'm going to tell you what I'm capable of.
Oh, no.
I'm capable of flying my butt up to Iowa just to see this woman play in person. Because I think it's that historic. It's no different. Anytime I walked Pebble Beach with Tiger Woods at the U.S. Open. I can't remember the year, but he destroyed the entire field by like 17, 18 strokes. I walked I think I was on that Saturday. I walked every hole with him because I just wanted to be there. I wanted to be a part of it. I want to go up to Iowa to see this woman play. She's incredible.
I don't even know who you are anymore. I mean, you won't even take a flight to Football Palooza, something you've tabled for about 4 months. Well, yeah, I want to go to Iowa City. Oh, really? Why? Women's basketball. I mean, look, I'll admit, the Iowa women's basketball team is a lot more entertaining than the Iowa football team. I mean, that offense, I get it. Ferenc, bro, your son. I get it. But, boy, go ahead. I would love to see you do a special Fearless remote. Right? I mean, come on. Oh, go ahead. Do it.
You know what? I'm going to reach out to Steve Dace and Jill Savage and see if they can get me tickets up there, because I will go up to Iowa just to see my girl, and I would help her, tell her not to flop, though. That was a bad look. Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.